Today, I'm gonna attempt to build a vertical, well, slanted pallet strawberry garden. Not using this pallet because it's loaded with nails, it's really splintery, and it doesn't look that great. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna build out what I think is the perfect vertical strawberry garden. One that will produce really good crops, be easy for the kids to go just pick some strawberries, prevent ground rot, and hopefully produce really, really good yields of strawberries, saving us lots of money. It's gonna cost some money, but will it save us money? We'll find out. Here we go. Let's go ahead and build a vertical strawberry garden. So I got the idea from something on Instagram. I saw it on Instagram, someone was building a vertical strawberry garden using gutters, and it was kind of cool. Then I saw somebody using a pallet. It seemed to be lacking a lot of what I think should be in a garden. So I grabbed a pallet, I get a lot of shipments out here, grabbed a pallet, leaned it up here, showed my wife, I said, hey, here's what I'm thinking, here's my ideas. She's like, hey, I support it, go for it. We love strawberries, we eat a lot of them. So we're gonna knock this thing out, hopefully really, really fast. My thoughts are, like, on a regular pallet, you have a 2x4. Then you have these really cheap wooden slats and they're really close. And they're splintery with rusty old nails. They use a lot of crap stuff here and there's no backing. So what I need to make sure is I need to make sure that there's ample drainage where like excess water from rainstorms and stuff can get drained out. I also want to make sure that the slats are wide enough so that I can put a mature strawberry bush in there and deep enough where the roots can actually start rooting into the soil. And I want to make sure the soil doesn't all fall out. So these are all things I'm thinking of right now. I hope it works out. So we're gonna go ahead and just go to Lowe's and get some materials. I'm one of those guys who I don't like to overthink it. I planned this out, I measured it. We're gonna go 4 foot wide, 6 foot tall. I'm gonna use 2x6s, hopefully. And I'm just gonna put this thing together in an afternoon, see if we can make a really cool vertical garden. Plus it'll like spruce up our outdoor shower area, so. All right, let's go. I do a lot of these projects on my own. It's kind of crazy how 3-4 years ago, I built a DIY cold plunge. I filmed it on my iPhone 13 mini, posted it on YouTube, just hoping to help 1 or 2 people out there build a cold plunge out of a chiller, with a chiller pump and filter, before really anybody was doing that, before there were brands out there even doing it. And it helped a lot of people. So that's kind of transitioned me out of the car business and into being a full-time YouTuber. And one of the things I need to remember is now, I review a lot of products on my channel, so you see a lot of like product reviews and a lot of that stuff, which I love. It's something I'm passionate about and it's really fun to do. But I also really love building stuff. I love problem solving. As you saw, I have an outdoor shower. I built that myself on my birthday last year, just on a whim, kind of like this. Like something I want, something I'd love to do. I'm just gonna figure it out and do it. So I didn't find a plan online. I built it based on my backyard and the things I wanted from an outdoor shower and the placement I wanted with an outdoor, the place that I wanted it. So I do a lot of that, and I want to do a better job of documenting these things, even if it's not for you, for myself, for my kids to see one day when I'm long gone. If YouTube's still here, my kids and grandkids and maybe great grandkids can watch and see who their great grandpappy was. I don't know. YouTube's kind of fun. Made it to Lowe's. One of the things I like to do is park next to the cart return because I hate when people leave their carts. I hate doing that. Sometimes I do. I'm in a rush. But try to park next to the cart return. Brought my handy tape measure. Let's go spend some money. First thing we're gonna do is make sure they have strawberries, and I'm also gonna measure and see the depth, because like obviously this big boy here, this huge strawberry bush, wouldn't work. I need something it's a little shallower, and these are all strawberries, man. So I need to measure that. Maybe that'll work. Let's see if there's anything smaller. Yeah, here we go. Here's what we're looking for right here. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. The reason is I'm gonna plant this in there with enough room for the roots to grow, but also the roots will start growing down as you water it, and kind of like, I don't know, gravity. I had one of those lettuce grows, and I realized like every time I would pull the roots would always like obviously go down where they grow towards the water. So as I'm watering this thing and water's kind of rushing down the backside, the roots are just gonna try to get as much water as possible. But this is exactly what I needed to see. They got exactly what I need. So I almost wonder if I should just get these now. No, there's plenty. There's plenty. And these are freaking healthy, vining so well. All right, let's go get the wood. Let's just see. I'm thinking about using a So I'm thinking about using a 2x6. Yeah, that's a 4-inch plant, so that gives me 2 inches of room to play with. Plus I want to have a little bit of room so the soil doesn't all just kind of fall out when I lean it up. So I think we'll be good. So we're gonna need to get wood. We're gonna need to get some of that mesh backing to just help it have breathability, let water drain out. And I want to get some screws just to have everything I need. That should be enough. So just thinking out loud here, I think I'm gonna use this deck board, and it's always a little bit cheaper if you go longer. So I'm gonna grab these 12 footers so I can cut it. I wanna do 4 foot wide. So I can cut that into 3 different slats. So I'll end up getting a few of these. Actually, wait, that's what I want right there. That's what I need right there. Yeah, heck yeah. All right. So this is like that 1x6 inch by 12 foot pressure treated. You know, you're gonna have to deal with that. You have to deal with pressure treated. I know there's a little toxicity there that might not be the best. Dang, is that the worst? Shoot, didn't think about that. Maybe I'll put a little barrier there too. A little barrier, yeah. Put a little barrier on the front too. That'll just at least prevent it a little bit. I'll let it all air out, dry out before I put the strawberries in. Ah, who am I kidding? I ain't that patient. Let's go. All right, this might be the best backing because I just need something to hold a couple spaces. It's kind of expensive, but it's what I need. So I'm gonna get a couple of these. Disclaimer, you're gonna see me getting double the materials that I actually need for this because I'm building 2 of these gardens. So throughout this video, as I figure out what I'm doing, I'm gonna put up on screen what you need for a shopping list if this works out. And so what I'm gonna get is, I wanna make these 6 feet tall, and I want 3 vertical braces using pressure treated wood. I'm gonna get these. These are 2x6 by 12. So I'm gonna get, if I was just building 1, I would get 2 of these. So that way I can have 1 outside brace, 1 in the middle, and then another outside brace. You don't really need too many. I think that'd be plenty. And then you'll have a little bit of extra. But I'm gonna end up getting 5, because like I said, I'm building 2. Need exterior, I think these will be fine. Yeah, I don't really want to overcomplicate it, but I don't want super long, but I don't want super short. So I'm going with the 1 3/4 inch. These look perfect, they're exterior. And yeah, they look pretty, a little gold. Let's go. Here's what we need right there. So if my math is right, these are 6 inches wide, going 6 feet tall. I want to have a decent gap in between each slat for the strawberries to grow. I think I want to go with 9 slats on each front. 9, maybe 10. That should give me enough of a space. Maybe not that many. Yeah, maybe 9. We'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna end up getting 3 of these because they're 12 feet long. I'm going 4 feet wide, which means I can cut 3 slats out of 1 piece. It's only $9. All right, yeah, that'll work. And then I'll just play it by ear. All right, so this is all the wood I need. I'm gonna go check out, put this in the truck, and then go get the rest of the supplies from the garden center.
You take a picture of me and you.
Oh, this is my boy, Twan. Twan?
Asian redneck.
Let's go!
Let's go.
So we got $244 today?
Yeah, what's your phone number?
407 Orlando. All right, $250 on wood, on materials. This will build my whole setup. And you're probably thinking like, okay, that's a lot of money to spend on a strawberry garden. But have you priced out strawberries lately? Like $8 to $10 for one little basket of strawberries, and you know like 4 or 5 of them aren't gonna get eaten because they're disformed or moldy. So I'm looking at this, I'm gonna get an ROI on this strawberry tower by next year, hopefully. That's the goal. Now we're on the hunt for some, I don't know what it's called, weed block, that black mesh stuff, and soil, and strawberries, and maybe some staples. Shoot. So we need 4 feet. So this covers a little over 1 meter by 15 meters. So yeah, we should be good with just 1. Maybe this will work. Excuse me, where are the marigolds? I think I'm also gonna get 1 bag, maybe 2 bags of this cypress mulch just for the very bottom, because I am gonna make sure that the bottom layer is a little bit off the ground, helps with drainage, and also cut back on weight a little bit. I'm gonna put marigolds on the very top, like literally the top of this thing to help with pests. Maybe 5 of them on each one. Round 2. So now round 3. I think, you know, I could have done this differently. I could have got it all in one fell swoop, but it just seems easier to like load up the wood, go back in, get the heavy mulch and soil, and now go get the strawberries. I hope they're still there, because it's been like, I've been here for an hour and a half now, but I'm also filming myself. It makes it a little harder. So in reality, I'm thinking, so I'm going 4 foot across. They don't need a ton of space, so maybe I'll do like 5 per row, and I think I'm gonna get 6 rows. So shoot, it's gonna get expensive. Well, I've gone this far, let's keep going. All right, so each of these little containers has 8 $6 strawberry bushes, and I got 6 of them. So it's gonna be like 260, 280 bucks, something like that for strawberries, but this is what we're looking for. This is what we're building the container for. So let's go. No backing down now. What'd you say?
The easy part is over.
We got the materials. You got any advice for me?
Good luck. Good luck.
All right, hard part is done. We got all the materials, I think. Hopefully we got a few extra materials just in case. Now let's go build this thing. I gotta do the math here. So I'm building 2 of these. And I mean, look at these strawberries. We got tons of strawberries here. I think I spent like 300, 200, spent about 600-700 bucks, 600-700 bucks on this project. And that includes everything for 2 strawberry towers. So yeah, I think that's okay. Like obviously that's a lot of money to invest at one time, and the day of labor and work and editing this video and all that stuff, but I think it'll be well worth it. I hope anyway, I hope the kids love it. Let's go. All right, we made it back. So this is where we're doing it, right here against this shower. So it gets a lot of great sunlight, like uninterrupted sunlight. The sun rises right over here. So the sun comes up just like this. Literally you see kind of where it's at now. Right there, nice and bright, beautiful sun. So I want to wrap around and build 2 towers around the shower. I feel like that greenery will just make this whole area pop. We got 2 little garden sections here. We got some comfrey, and then I planted some strawberries here. I've got nothing happening. That's why I bought them. I'm not that great, just so you know. Like, there's probably people who are gonna watch this video who are really good at gardening and are gonna have a lot of comments. Please let me know all your comments. Like, I'm not one of those people who feels like I have it all figured out. This whole video may be a complete fail. Everyone I've talked to about it so far feels pretty positive, so that's exciting. But yeah, if you have any suggestions, comments, or anything you see I'm doing wrong here, load me up. I appreciate it. I can take constructive criticism. But now let's move this piece of crap out of the way, and let's go ahead and just get started cutting. Let's start cutting, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, here's step 1. We're gonna grab a 2x6. I'm gonna use my old pallet real quick, just because it's easier. See if I got staples on one side or the other. I got staples on that side, so that'll be my cut. So one thing to know is a lot of times these are cut, even though it's a 12 foot, it's usually an inch bigger. Sometimes they can even be a little bit smaller. So I am gonna make sure my measurements here are good. I wanna see how long this piece is. And we're looking at, yeah, 12 foot, just over 12 feet. So I'm gonna mark this at 6 feet one time, move my tape measure here, use these slats and cut. So there's one side piece. Now I'm gonna measure it again from this side. So I have a clean cut at exactly 6 feet. So I got two perfect 6 feet pieces for the outside. And I probably don't need an inside, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And same thing, this is a 6 foot cut. Measure it from that side there, because this is gonna be our middle brace, just to give everything a little more structure, because we are gonna be filling this thing up with a lot of weight. We're gonna be left with a lot of extra wood if you're building just one of these. So we got 3 6 foot pieces here, and then you're left with some extra. This extra, we're gonna just save for a second. I wanna see, you know, we're gonna be holding a lot of weight, and I didn't really plan for having a full support on the bottom. I wanna leave the top open because I want that to be where I plant my marigolds. So we're gonna save this. We might use it at the bottom. We'll throw it off to the side for now. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our front pieces, and then we're gonna take our back pieces. I did a shortcut. I bought these pieces of exterior plywood pre-cut just to save a step. So I think we'll be good. But basically I wanna make sure that I cut these all the same length, because I can't add size to this. And we're looking at, see, 47 and just over 47.5 inches. So that's less than 4 feet. So I wanna be able to get 3 cuts out of this. I got over 12 feet here. So that same width right there, which let's just round it to the easiest cut. I'm just gonna say like 47.5 plus 1. All right, 47.5 plus 1. I wanna get all these cuts done first. 47.5 plus 1. All right, there's 1. Should be the same width. All right, we're gonna do that a couple more times. 47.5 plus 1. Second one. And then our last one, just a little bit off the back here. Right here. All right, there's 3 front slats. And now I can actually lay this thing out a little bit and see how it's gonna look. 1, 2, 3. This isn't a perfect science by any means, but you can see, kinda. A couple more, 47.5 plus 1. Lay out. See, what I wanna do is I wanna lay out and see how many spots for strawberries I'm gonna have. Once again, this isn't an exact science, this is just building trial by error. I definitely want them to be smaller, so a couple more. Good, we'll see. Okay. Alrighty then. So I definitely like to get this thing going fast, like I don't really overthink it. So now I'm gonna stage up my main support bars that are all the pressure treated heavy wood. This is like the main spine of the entire setup here. I'm gonna stage it. I'm gonna put all of the front pieces on it just to see how I want this layout to go. And I'm gonna grab some strawberries and just make sure they fit in there right, how I'm looking for, what I'm looking for. Then, because I wanna wrap the whole thing with that cloth, I'm going to put the cloth down up top, and then I'm going to screw in one of the top pieces, and then I'm gonna wrap it all the way down, kind of doing the same thing, go all the way through the back. I'm gonna flip this thing over. It's gonna be a little hard at first, but my goal is I want all of that to be the cloth. I want the cloth to cover the whole thing. So once I get to the back, once the front's done and I get to the back, I'm gonna actually pour in the soil as I'm going through it, because by the end of that, like once that's all done, all I have to do now is like cut a couple X's in and stand it up and theoretically put the strawberries in, and I'm done. So simple project, I hope. I'm probably gonna run into some snags, but let's stage this thing and make sure it looks good. All right, so we're looking for 47-ish inches. So I got a little bit of room here. This one out just a little bit, I'm gonna run out of room. And then I want to stage it. I want all the lettering to be obviously not facing up. So there we go. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like I could have a little overhang. I think that's fine. But yeah, let's see. I think I'll do it like that. I think that looks good for now. This is just staging anyway. I think I want to have 2 pieces at the bottom to help me with support. Plus I don't need strawberries that close to the ground. So assuming we do it like this, okay, put them all in there. Let's see how wide we can go. I want to be able to plant the strawberry, but also I want to be able to plant the strawberry, but I also want to give myself as many as possible. Perfect like that. So I'm just taking the potter itself and using it to kind of like give myself just enough space for the strawberry bush to fit in there, because it's going to be out of that. I'll also measure it at this point. This top piece, I could probably freaking zip this thing or give myself a little overhang, like a little lip at top. Have the marigolds up there. Dude, that could work. That could work. All right, that's pretty much what it'll look like. So here's what we got so far. So I'm gonna put 2 boards at the bottom just to give a little bit of elevation, because I'm gonna put a little bit of mulch under there, some cardboard, just like I would do in any raised garden bed. I wanna allow for some water drainage, and I am gonna have a little drain built into the back, so if there is excess water, it doesn't just pool there at the bottom. I don't wanna create a pool. So the bottom will be open. It's just gonna have that black cloth holding whatever it can in, which hopefully I don't regret. But I realized that I've got about 5 inches in between for this setup, and that gives me just a little bit of a lip at the bottom and a little bit of a lip at the top. So I have pretty much perfectly, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gaps that I can fill in strawberries across. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna make sure that the measurements are really perfect, it's really square, and then I'm gonna go grab that cloth and I'm gonna start at the top and literally just I'm gonna unroll it and screw these boards in. The boards are gonna be what hold the cloth in the front in. And the only reason I have it on the front is just to kind of help hold all of the soil that I'm about to put in this thing in, because I am pretty much creating just a small pocketed, almost hydroponic without the hydroponics. Yeah. Hope this works, man. Hope this works. So far, I'm actually excited about it. I think it's gonna be cool. But this is what we're looking at so far, and this is just one of them. I'm gonna go ahead and just build one of them all the way through, make sure it works before I build the second one. But so far, I'm liking it. Let's go ahead and finish this baby up. And what I'm thinking I can do down here at the bottom is, instead of it being flush with the board, I think I'm gonna bring it down even an inch, because I am gonna have this at an angle. And I mean, it's probably not gonna be like perfect, but if I bring it down an inch, that just gives me a little bit more room up here to play with, because I don't really love having the top board all the way like sticking up outside of it. And I want all these spaces to be even. So if I pull this down just a hair, I think we're gonna be okay. And I think that'll just kind of help with the leaning and tilting. It'll just, I don't know, just selling myself on that's what I'm gonna do. So that's what we're gonna do. So for this next part, we're gonna grab our landscape fabric. That's what it's called. I know I called it a bunch of things. Just rip this stuff open. Probably gonna need to go get a razor blade too. Some tape on it. Oh, it's easy. There we go. Now, yeah, it's good. See how it's like thin enough to like breathe through? So it'll hold my soil in. I'm gonna have those plywood pieces on the back that'll hold a majority of the weight in, and I'm gonna let nature take its course. So I'm actually gonna use a stapler on this next part, because I wanna just make sure the fabric is held really securely in place before I start screwing and moving boards around. And I also know I said I was gonna start from the top. I'm actually gonna start from the bottom. And I also wanna give myself room in case I add a bottom board, which I think I'm gonna do. I think that's good. I think I wanna give myself even more room. Come off actually 2 inches, 1.5 inches. I think 1.5 inches gives me a little bit of wiggle room, just in case I need to make some adjustments. All right, cool. So that's what we're gonna be, is we're gonna grab our fabric, let a little bit of it hang on that side. There's a little bit dangling there at the bottom. You can always cut this off. So let's go for it. First staple. All right, now is the real moment of truth. This is where it gets serious. First board. This is the bottom board. So you need to make sure it's really, really level. Everything looks good. Once again, it doesn't matter that much. I'm gonna come down 1.5 inches on both sides. I'm 1.5 inches off the bottom of all three, and it should be half, 1.5. That's good. That's as good as we're getting right now. Let's go ahead and put our first. That's a cool lid. Interesting. Don't know if I like that actually, but. All right, first board in. Okay, and we're looking good. So let's go ahead and add the second one. Same thing, we're gonna just add a couple staples as we move our way up. Staples aren't that great, but just a little extra love here. And this one we're gonna put right on top. This is just kind of like our air. You know what, we'll even put a little tiny little gap there. Tiny gap. If you notice, I'm not gonna put all the screws in, working my way up. I'm just gonna put like a main screw in case I need to make some changes. Don't know if I'm gonna need to, I just don't wanna have to take all of them out. This is also exactly how I built my shower. Like just one day it was like, I want an outdoor shower. I got a quote for like 4 grand. And I built the whole shower myself on my birthday in an afternoon for just over 500 bucks, including plumbing. So if you can do it yourself, do it yourself. So here's where it gets really fun. We're about to make our first hole for strawberries. So let's do that. Add a couple staples. Here's where it gets fun. We're gonna measure this next one, give ourselves 5 inches. And we just wanna make sure we don't have any of the text on this wood. So give ourselves 5 inches, make sure we're nice and level. Make sure we're at 5 inches everywhere. 5 inches, 5 inches, just double check, 5 inches. 5 inches. All right, let's put the screw in. This is an important one. In the middle first. All right, so in theory now at this point, like this is where the strawberries will be planted. I'm gonna put them in there and just kind of cut like a little X into this cloth. Put the strawberries, I'm probably gonna put like 2 in each space. Put 2 in each space, and then I'm gonna put it, you know, obviously I'll put it up, it'll be angled, and the green will wanna grow its way up towards the sun, and these little stems where the strawberries usually grow will lay down on the boards. So then when you're harvesting, you literally, like your strawberries should just be like, here, you just pop them off. Theoretically, that's the theory that we're going for here. That's what this whole build is based off of. All right, let's work our way up. What'd you find, bro?
A strawberry from the garden.
Dude, we're gonna have so many strawberries, I hope.
Yeah, there's some more strawberries.
Are you gonna eat it?
Yeah.
Do it. Mmm. Nothing beats that. Winifred, what you doing, little girl? Bro, you picked it?
Crap.
Yeah, it's supposed to be good.
It's grown.
Yeah. Yes. The spacing worked out perfect doing it this way. I did 5 inches in between each space. I did 2 boards at the bottom with a 1.5 inch overhang. Same exact thing at top, almost like literally exactly the same, which is great. Got the fabric down, which is cool. Staples kind of sucked, but they were doing their job. They're holding it in place, at least it's there. I wasn't even gonna do that, so definitely I'm glad I did that. And now I'm going to secure the rest of the screws so the front is done, holds everything in place, and then I'm going to try to very carefully flip it over and then do the backside with the same fabric, leaving some gaps. But the backside is gonna be mainly the plywood because the whole design there is to hold the weight in. So let's do it. Top's complete and it's raining. Like good old Florida. Hopefully it doesn't rain hard so I can complete this, but front is done. That is what the front will look like. It is complete. Now I need to clean some space here and flip it over. Shouldn't be too heavy, but it will have some weight, so just be careful with it when you're flipping it over. You don't wanna like rip the netting. The goal is to have the netting all complete, all the way around. So we'll knock that out. I really do think I'm gonna add a bottom. So that's kind of the cool, like that's where the netting will like overlap a little bit. And then I'm gonna put a bottom with one of these leftover pieces of 2x6. So it has just extra strength at the bottom. Also, just I think it's probably a smart thing. I might not use the 2x6. I might just use that extra piece of deck board. Just once again, just almost like as one last little piece to just kind of hold everything together. That's where all the water is gonna end up, you know, pooling. So I'm gonna knock that out. And yeah, let's hope it doesn't pour down rain. Well, this isn't good. It's starting to rain. So now I've got the back, it's flipped over. I'm gonna get started here, but now that I've got the top piece on, I feel like I've got this whole thing pretty secure. I'm gonna space out the rest of it. I wanna see where I'm gonna put this because I did only get 2 of these pieces of plywood for this. So I was gonna put like 1 at the top and 1 at the bottom. The bottom, I was planning on leaving like a little gap so water can drain out a little bit through this cloth. But I'm realizing I'm gonna have like a pretty good gap in the middle there. So I might end up cutting, so I don't have to run back to the store, I might end up cutting a little bit more of this deck board and just kind of like give it some, I don't know, man. Now that I'm looking at this, I feel like I need to, do something a little different because it's gonna be a lot of weight going back there. This is part of it, man. This is part of learning it. So, and it's raining. So let me space this out, figure out what we're doing next. All right, so what I figured I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take 1 more piece of this deck board and I'm gonna go ahead and secure it to the bottom, giving me structure and giving me something to count on when I do lean this huge heavy thing up with soil all inside it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just screw this bottom piece down. So consider this the base, and then I'm gonna notch out a couple like just little triangles in this just to allow some water to come flow through this, because I'm gonna end up using 3 of these pieces of plywood that I bought. So in theory, I should have just bought a whole freaking sheet of plywood, but yeah, it's part of learning it. So now you don't have to make the same mistakes I'm making. Let's go ahead and get this base on. The rain let up a little bit, so we're good right now, but I am running out of time. I might have to pause the rest of the project for tonight and do it tomorrow. The family all got home and we have church on Wednesday nights. I lead 8th grade boys and I don't want to miss that. All right, base is in, looks good. I'm not gonna put this bottom piece on yet, but I am gonna notch it out real quick. Just gonna notch out a couple, just random triangles. So at this point, this is where there's no looking back. Before I put the rest of the backing on here, because once this is secure, I don't want to like hand feed this thing with soil. So I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take everything off real quick. I've got my base already loaded, everything's good. And now I'm just gonna start putting soil. I'm gonna push soil all the way to the top there, fill the top all in, fill the whole thing in with soil. So it's about to get real heavy. And then once I get towards the bottom here, I can see through where my bottom boards are on the front. And I'm gonna put a little bit of cardboard just because it's good for like earthworms and stuff, I don't know. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of that mulch down there at the bottom too, just at that base, just to kind of help with drainage, help with keeping moisture from rotting down at the bottom there. So, and then I'm gonna fill the whole thing up, and the whole thing is gonna be freaking full of soil. So it's gonna be very freaking heavy. I should probably, before I do that, get it closer. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna move it over there closer to where I'm putting it. That makes a lot more sense. Let's build that up so I know exactly where it's going, and that way all I have to do is freaking deadlift this thing. I have no idea how heavy it's gonna be. I've got all of this soil to fill it up with, but that should be interesting. That'll be the most entertaining part of this whole video. So I'm trying to think a step or 2 ahead. So I've got this up on a nice stable ground using that old pallet, where once I fill this in with soil, I can literally just like flip it up, and Lord willing, it's gonna land exactly where it needs to go. And then we'll be done. Then I can literally just cut a few holes, put the strawberries in there, and be good to go. Lord willing. I really think this works. I really hope this freaking works. Oh.
So cool.
I'm trying to get the vertical strawberry garden. That was AI? Yeah, videos aren't real, but we're gonna try to make this cool. Just set it right there. Pretty much, there's a little left. So I'm gonna flip this over. All right, this is one of the hardest parts. This is one of the hardest parts, but hopefully not too hard. Yeah, there goes that. Try to pack the soil on top there. That worked well. Shoot, that worked so well. Of course, when I start filming, it starts raining. I think 3 bags on each side. All right, I'm gonna cut a couple pieces of cardboard for in here. Cardboard down there at the base. My goodness. Shove a couple pieces of cardboard because I heard it's good for it. For a little bit of should be good. Beautiful. One more bag on this side, and this side will be good. Finish the whole thing. Okay, just checking in. full of soil, packed in by hand. I put a little layer of mulch in here at the end. There's mulch at the bottom, there's cardboard at the bottom. Once I tip this thing over, it's where a lot of the water obviously will end up through gravity, all that fun stuff. And I put a little bit of mulch here on the back because that's where the plywood's gonna be, and I just think it might help a little bit with moisture, like retention and just kind of management. So we are fully packed in. I'm ready to bring the rest of this fabric cloth down and seal the entire thing, and then I'm gonna flip it over and then take my kids to cheer. So I got 4 minutes to do this. Let's go. Rain went away. That's a plus. Yeah, Bev. Yeah. So just put in the last screw on the back. I think this is gonna hold everything up well. Everything seems good. I'm gonna cut the rest of that fabric off, flip it over, and assess the situation. I hope everything's good, man. Lord, let this just flip over and be good. I ended up putting 3 full bags of soil on each side, so 6 full bags in one. I packed it in there pretty good, but I also left a little bit of wiggle room, knowing that there's soil attached to each of those strawberries, so I don't like need a ton. Also, the top is open. I have the fabric on there, and I'm gonna cut a couple pieces open where I'm gonna put the marigolds for pest protection and just to look pretty and bring pollinators and all that fun stuff. But I can also like shove some more soil in there. The bottom is packed with mulch, put some cardboard down there, and I think everything's gonna be good. I think there's an ample drainage and ample breathability. I don't think it's gonna turn into a hot box. I was a little worried about that, like having such a thin amount of soil, but I think because of the plywood, I think it's gonna hold moisture well, and I think it's gonna be okay. I'm also gonna add a drip line to this, so I will have plenty of water hitting these strawberries. And hey, it's just an experiment. See if it works. If it doesn't work, well, that sucks, but I think it's gonna work. Cool, cool beans. Now let's raise it up. That was a heavy freaking deadlift. Not sure how heavy that was, but we're up, baby. Heck yes. Heck freaking yes. Let's get rid of this one. We're up, and the first thing I need to do is check the soil levels. Once it's up, and obviously gravity does its thing, so I'm gonna cut a couple holes in the top up here, and I'm actually gonna just pour some water. I'm gonna get the hose and just pour some water in, get everything packed in there, make sure I have like good soil in there so there's not a ton of air gaps before I start planting the strawberries, because I don't want to put the strawberries in now, then as soon as I start watering it, everything just kind of fall, because then the root system will all fall. So I need it to be pretty packed in there pretty well. What do you think, Bev?
I love it. It's cool. I don't understand it still.
What do you think, Wyatt? Do you understand it?
Where do the strawberries go?
Soon you will, don't worry.
Are you gonna cut this?
Yeah, so there's soil in there right now. Like you can feel that soil. Like I literally filled this thing up. It's full of soil. At the bottom, I have a really good drainage system.
So you're gonna cut like a hole and
just gonna do like the little, and then plant the strawberry in there. So this will just help like where the strawberries aren't. It'll just help keep the soil from falling out. So after we sprayed it down with some water, you can see I've got still about another 8 inches in there to put soil, because I want the soil to come all the way up to this black, so the marigolds are sticking up out the top. So we're gonna put some more soil in there. At this point, we're done. We've got the whole thing built. It is completely ready for our strawberries or fruit, whatever you want to put in there. So what I just did is I just soaked the whole top up with the hose. It's getting late in the day and I am so dirty and wet, so I didn't really film that very well, I'm sorry. But yeah, what I did is I just cut a hole in the top and filled it up with water for a little while, made sure that everything was wet all the way down. I even soaked the front of it a little bit, and then just made sure that the soil was packed in there. I pushed it down a little bit too, just to make sure. I'm gonna start planting strawberries, and I'm gonna start at the bottom. Probably gonna kick myself in the butt for that, but what I'm thinking is at least like as things are settling, I could pack things down, and I'd rather like do the bottom, and then as I'm working my way to the top, just kind of add more soil as I need. I don't know, like I don't think it's gonna be too crazy. We're gonna find out though, but I'm gonna start at the bottom. I'm gonna plant 2 strawberries like in each section, so 4 across, so before 8, you can do the math. So we should have a really beautiful looking strawberry garden here in the next hour or so. So let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, the moment of truth. Please don't fail me now. So I'm just gonna pack everything in there a little bit. Go for it. So I knew some soil was gonna fall out. That's fine. Actually, what I should do, once I get one of these buckets open, I can catch the soil. Let me grab a bucket real quick. So I got a little bucket to grab the soil out of here. So I'm using a shovel, just kind of pull some of it. That kind of worked. Here we go, the first one. Here we go, Wyatt. Bro, freaking worked. Let's go. Put a little bit more soil up under there. I'm just gonna use my hand. Okay, so what I need to do is make sure that hole's a little bit lower on the next one. But all in all, we got a strawberry planted there. I wonder if I should pull it out just a little bit more. Or it's a little bit more slanted. Next strawberry. So I learned on the first one, don't take as much soil out. You don't need to take that much soil out. It's gonna be interesting. So there's 2, go to the next side. From the wall, that one was a good one. Very little soil came out. Okay, there's 4 strawberries planted. 4 strawberries planted. Let me rinse these off. Well, that's the theory right there. That's what I'm thinking. I'm glad I started on the bottom, because I can always patch it up. I can put something over it if I don't like it, if it's too low. But this is really what I'm hoping will happen is once these realize where the sun is, obviously the sun's going down, so there's no sun right here right now. But once these start to like catch into the soil, the green will start to grow up a little bit. It'll capture that sun, and then the strawberries will start to grow, and they'll literally just dangle down over the wood. So it should make for a really clean, easy to pick strawberry. And yeah, I'm gonna have to tend to it a little bit, make sure everything's good. I mean, I think I made these holes a little big, so I definitely will make the ones up here a little bit smaller as I go up. And as I get higher, it might get just a little bit easier, but all in all, I think it might work. We'll see. I'm very optimistic at this because it's taken me all day and cost, you know, 600 bucks. Don't tell my wife. I think what I'm gonna do as I go higher is I think actually I'm gonna cut the hole lower so I can kind of put the strawberry down so where the root system is underneath this. I went a little high and I started realizing over here, the lower I go, the less soil is gonna fall out. I can use this as almost like a lip. So let's give that a try. See what happens. That's the freaking way to do it right there. Figured it out. So cut a triangle down at the bottom, a little tiny cross at the top, and try to like push the soil to the top up and scoop it. You might have to use your hand a little bit, but dude, that one was freaking clean. So we're gonna do like a triangle at the bottom, try to pull it out, a little cut at the top just to get in there. So you're cutting an X still, arcs on there, trying to get it from underneath. What I also learned is you need to make it somewhat wide. Dude, this is getting a little bit easier actually. You kind of put your fist in there, scoop just a little more from the bottom. Now we should be freaking cooking with gas, baby. And you just kind of squeeze the root system in there. And you just push it. Push it, pull the paper back out. And that allows the whole system. That is nice. Man, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Once the strawberries grow, I feel like the root system will fill in there a little bit and it'll be good. All theory, but I'm happy with this option. We're gonna keep working our way up here, and I'm just gonna try some new things. So I'm almost wondering if I just cut like a V now, kind of flip it up and just shove the strawberry in there. Let's try a V. Something that's just wide enough for me to like flap up. That like a little drape system. I'm still just trying to get the soil from underneath without it falling, but that's hard. I already got some pollinators over here. Strawberries at the bottom are gonna take a beating while I'm doing this, but they'll be fine. That one's pretty clean too. I really think once they take root, they'll be better, but still trying to figure out the best way to cut this. I almost wonder if I get like a small little lip, like either a little like a windowsill piece, just something small that sticks out just a little bit. I just wonder if I put that there, even if it's like metal, copper, that'd be sweet. But something that's like a little lip to almost like give a gutter system, something that just kind of like holds what wants to come out in. I don't know, keep experimenting with it, but I liked over here a little bit better. It just looks cleaner. These are some healthy little strawberries though, for now. I finally have it figured out. I've got it. We're over halfway done, but I figured out the cut. So these cuts are super clean. A lot less soil is falling out when I spray, which I don't really like. I think once everything starts to like settle in here, I think it'll be better. I hope, man. Like, I don't know, like in my mind I thought more soil would stay, but I'm also soaking it with water. So, but here's the cut, right? So if we cut a V, like a pretty healthy V, and then we cut it into like a W, like we open a hole down here. So basically the strawberries come out that hole and the rest of it I can kind of pack in there. Now the hardest part, the thing that sucks the most, is like when you are first taking out, oh my god, I almost stepped on that razor blade. When you're first taking out the soil, obviously the soil above tends to fall. We want to scoop like a decent hole, just enough for the strawberries to fit, and then you can kind of push the strawberry in there and push all of the soil back in there. So I'll show you. So take this out. I like to like pull the strawberries out and then kind of like ball the root system up just a little tighter, then shove it all in there, and then make sure all the green is coming out, and then pack the cloth around it, and then clean up the soil that came out of it. And then that's a way cleaner setup than obviously way down below. Getting the whole root system in, that sucks a little bit. I'm gonna try to make this one just a little bit smaller, because if we make this part where the actual greenery comes out, I don't know, it's late, man. It's been an all day project. But if we just get enough out where the root system can go in, and you gotta like, and you can shove it in there a little bit, it makes it a little bit cleaner. And then try to like tighten the root system in there. Just shove the whole freaking thing. A little cleaner, a little bit cleaner. I do wish, like, if I had like 4 people with me, what I would have done is I would have planted everything while it was on the ground, had it all look pretty, and then had a friend just kind of help me tilt this, or a few friends because it's heavy, set this thing up. Obviously, doing this whole project by myself, so beggars can't be choosers, but yeah, if you have the help, if you have the resources, maybe set this whole thing up flat on the ground, plant all of your strawberries where you want them. It should be a lot easier, a lot less messy. And then when you tilt it up, I think, you know, when you spray it all down, everything will just kind of settle a little bit nicer. Maybe not. I don't know. Once again, maybe this whole thing fails, but that's the cool thing about experimenting, is they might fail, but I'm okay either way. Well guys, we freaking did it. So I'm happy with it. I'm really happy with it. So manipulated the soil a little bit. It's all wet. All the soil is nice and wet. Planted the marigolds up top up here, and already have pollinators flying around. There was already some bees flying around as I was planting that. So that is such a good sign. So that was the build. That was building this whole setup out of just my thoughts. And I'm happy with it. I'm happy with how it came out. It looks really cool. I think as they start to mature, like obviously I just planted them, so all the leaves are drooping down, the sun is going down. So tomorrow will be a really cool experiment to see how they react to the sun. I'm gonna come out here and water them and just keep an eye on them for the next few days. Hopefully they take really, really fast. There's a good amount of soil. Like, they've got a deep packed amount of soil in there. So I'm happy with it, and I hope it freaking works. I'll keep you posted. We'll do a little check-in in a couple days, but I think this is gonna be a really fruitful strawberry, whatever you want to call this thing, pallet, strawberry pallet. Yeah, that's what we're calling this thing, the DIY strawberry pallet. So man, my kids are stoked. They're all gone now, they're all cheer, but I can't wait till they get home and get to see it. I can't wait till we start seeing strawberries growing on this. Strawberries grow really well in Florida, so I don't see any reason why they shouldn't. But I'll keep you guys posted. Follow me on Instagram. It's at DMossJr for updates. And yeah, leave me a comment down below if you think this was a good idea, a bad idea, if you got something out of this, if you would do something differently. I put it at like an angle. I didn't even measure the angle, but just an angle that looked okay, that looked right, and you can still kind of like walk around it. But yeah, that's it. DIY strawberry trellis. Appreciate you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day, my friends, and God bless. You.